Whew. Dude, that was crazy hard. Holy crap.
Hello and welcome back to another race recap video. Today we're going to be looking at the Sand City Criterium. This is the Elite 3-4 race. Took place on July 7th. Yeah, we just took off. This is a 40-minute race. The course is one of the more technical ones we have here in NorCal, and it's my first time doing this race, so I haven't raced the course before. I got a couple laps in ahead of time before we started, but overall, I mean, most of it is new to me. I'm racing with Dolce Vita. We brought in an awesome squad today. We had myself, Michael King, Ringo Tang, and then we also had guest riding for us, Wei. So we had a great squad to come out here and get a result as a team. The other suspects, the other rivals were here as well. We had Tarun, Work Health, Velo Kings, and then Team Mike Spikes, Devo as well. So that kind of sets the stage for this. We're about halfway through the first lap. There's a headwind kind of hitting all of the straightaways except the finish line straightaway. So the green arrows are showcasing what way the wind is blowing. And I feel like the wind did have a little bit of effect on the race in the sense that it didn't break up as much as expected. But we'll kind of maybe peek into that a little bit later. Overall, coming into this race, our team didn't go and protect anyone. When you have a course like this that is so demanding physically just to ride it at all at this pace, we felt it didn't make sense to designate someone as the sprinter or the person who's going to sit in, because there's no sitting in on a course like this. Like, the easiest position to be in is at the front. At the back, it just gets worse, and as a team, we just needed to try to stay up front. That's why I pinned it off the line, and I wanted to be in the top 5 wheels. And at this point, we're only 2 laps into the race. A small 2-man group goes up the road, Tarun and Velo Kings, in the form of Cole and I'm not sure about the other rider, but I know Cole's a super strong and awesome brake mate to have, and I would love to be rolling a brake with all 3 of the stronger teams represented. So I took the opportunity, I jumped across, and we started rolling a little bit and working together, I might add. Now, in hindsight, we should have really pinned it. Like, rode for 2 to 3 laps so hard that there's no way we could keep doing it and get a very well-established gap. The result was that we rode about 2.5 or 3 laps, hard but not super hard, and we just got caught and absorbed. I get the feeling Work Health and a couple of maybe the Cyclip youth team got on front, and they need to put in a bit of an effort, but not a major effort, to kind of get it stitched up. So, hindsight, I wish that we just took care of this, or took care of the brake better by actually going hard. What we just saw was an example of not so great cornering. I don't like using someone else as an example, but I felt like it was really important to showcase how difficult the corners are here. So taking a look at that again, overcooked it, you brake really hard, you scrub your speed, and now all of a sudden, yeah, you're moving backward. And this didn't just happen at the front, it happened at the back. Now we're taking a look at Wei. Take a look at Wei right into here. He is doing the hill correctly, like, or right, we should say. It's like, what does right mean anyway? And this is this is my opinion, right? So everyone has their own way of tackling these kind of course features. But I wanted to highlight Wei here, because if you look, he stays seated, he shifts up significantly to the top of his cassette, and he spins the entire time. So this is a big mistake that I made in the race, in that I did not get this hill correct, and at all in my race. In the 3-4 race, I didn't get it correct. I figured it out. I raced the 2-3 race. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But the entire race for 40 minutes, I was only kind of going up 1 or 2 gears on my cassette, standing up and spinning maybe at 60 RPM. I should have gone 4 or 5 up, sat down and spun at 80 to 90. That would have made a huge difference in how my legs felt at the end of the race. Oh, now we're going through this corner. I want to showcase this corner really quick. It's a back straightaway corner that I felt like throughout the race was one of the best spots to make a move, and I just did it on the outside. So I actually took the long way around, kept pedaling, and found this avenue to shoot down, which allowed me to make up a bunch of spots and go from 20th wheel, up to, top 10, maybe we'll say, right? And that lap, it worked out. There were other laps when I tried this, and it just did not work out. And I felt like it was important to showcase how the same corner and the same feature, one line can work one lap, and then the other line, it might not. Or there might be, the right line might be different the next lap. And that's exactly what happens here. The very next lap, we're coming into the same corner. I make an assessment on the momentum of the group and where I need to position my bike. And this time I go deep inside and carry my momentum through, don't hit any brakes. And there's the momentum came out of the group really fast at the front. The speed differential was pretty large. I went right by everyone, and now I'm literally at the front, almost off the front. I realized I had cut out a piece of this video that I felt was pretty important, which was a preem lap. And on the heels of me coming through on the inside of that corner, I found myself at the front of the race all of a sudden. I'm at the front of the race, I come around the corner here toward the straightaway, and as I'm coming down, I hear it's a preem lap for some awesome sunglasses. And we're like 23 minutes into the race or something, like 20 minutes into the race, and having a preem lap around 20-minute mark, I thought, what a great time to maybe put the pressure on everyone. Like, I want to cut this group in half. I don't want to have as many people here at the end. I want to sprint reduce, try to reduce sprint. So I decided to hammer it, and I really hit it hard here. I'm not sure what the normalized was, but I think the average was about 300 watts for me, with the speed at like 28 miles an hour. This lap was by far the hardest lap of the race for me, and I'll kind of showcase the laps on Strava here. That bar that you see up there, the big purple one, that's this lap. So I've led most of the lap. This rider comes through with the blue bibs, and I decide to sit on their wheel because I've been pulling now on the front for a bit and drilling it really, and he does too. Like, we're doing 450. I'm doing 450 sustained in his draft, so that's not nothing. I'm not surprised no one came around. And then on the inside here, I kind of command the inside line, do a half sprint. 800 watts, not that much. And to my surprise, I look back and he's kind of just like, "You can have it, man. I don't want it." So there you go. The result was that my heart rate's at 181. It was a really fast lap. I'm definitely feeling it. I definitely burned some matches, but I did get this awesome pair of Tifosi sunglasses with the photochromatic lenses that get darker in the sun and clear up when it's dark out, right? So that's kind of neat. Not bad. Who says you can't make money in bike racing? Look, I got glasses. Do amateur bike racing. Win glasses. On the heels of that, I'm tired. And I had this mental weakness, this moment of mental weakness where I thought, I'll float to the back and I'm gonna recover a little bit, because there's this thought that being at the front is hard because you're at the front. But on a course like this, it's just not true. It's hard everywhere. No one's taking it easy. No one's just, freewheeling and sitting at the back, not breaking a sweat. Everyone is working really hard. And the people who are working the least hard are the first 5 wheels, The people working the most hard are the last 5 wheels. And this was just one of those things where I mentally needed to hold on tighter to the idea that I need to stay at the front. No matter how bad I feel right now, and how hard it feels right now, staying at the front is still easier than going backward. But I didn't do that, and as a result, here I am, kind of, you know, looking at a string of dudes who are entering the next corner when I'm going through the previous one, and it's not what you want. So a couple laps go by and I don't really see any opportunities to move up, and I finally decide that it sucks, but I'm gonna have to grit my teeth and do this. I'd rather burn the matches now while I have them moving up than burn them to maintain position where I'm at. So I put in a pretty big dig here. This is a match or 2 to move up. I started to get pinched. I think I yelled there because I had to keep the door open, let them know I was there. And the result was I made up half the ground. So I still have about half the riders to get back into that sweet spot, the first 5 wheels that I really want to be in. But, you know, that's the kind of work you got to put in when you float to the back and need to move up. And we'll see here, I was able to move up 1. That's an important key factor. And I was able to do it again down the similar straightaway where this right-hand avenue opened up, and I'm able to float forward. And this was pretty free. I like, this was pretty cool in the sense that it didn't cost me as much to get back into this kind of sweet spot at the front of the race, and I was able to do very little power to get to the front. But overall, if you go to the back, you have to burn matches to get to the front, and it sucks. And I'll just really quickly mention, I did the 2-3 race after this race. It was 40 minutes later. I was still exhausted. Riding near the front or at pace in that race felt so much easier than in this race because it was smooth. The power was consistent the whole time. The whole race felt easier, except that once you moved back, there was no moving back up. Like, I was not strong enough at all. Like, it didn't matter if I had matches to burn to move back up. It didn't mean anything. It's too fast. You can't move up. So I was near the front of the 2-3 race feeling like it was not that hard compared to the 3-4 race, and thinking like, oh man, like, this is great. Like, I can't believe I feel so good. And then I went to the back, and I was truly at the back, like second to last wheel. And while it was still smooth, I realized there was no way I was getting back up to the front. There's just no way. So yeah, even more so as you go up higher into these kind of more difficult higher categories, staying at the front matters just that much more, because the race doesn't have the lulls that it does in the 3-4 race. The pace was just always in the wheels. The pace was on. Okay, great. We've cut forward a little bit more to the end of the race. We are now coming into the bell lap. Coming to bell lap, I felt really good about this. My positioning is great. I'm sitting in like the top 7 wheels, and look what comes screaming on the left-hand side. The Mike's Bikes train comes rolling through, and I actually was so caught off guard by it that I lost positions because I wasn't staying on top of things. Like, when they came by on the left, I opened the door, and that was a problem. So now all of a sudden I'm not in the top 5 wheels, I'm like in the top 10 wheels, and that is bad. And things just kind of go haywire here at the end. Everything goes crazy. So as we're going through, you see this Mike's Bikes rider completely blows up and is heading backward because he's done his lead out duties. Cool. I'm looking at this going, oh man, this is a little not great. I'm a little far back. RJ blows this corner real bad. It slows us up, both of us up, and all of us up really, and then there's a little gap. This guy drops his chain. Right now, look at the group. It's like pretty, you know, opened up at the front here. We're not as tight as we should be because there's all these kind of little issues happening. And I'm thinking, oh man, this isn't looking good. And I misread this guy in this light blue Kit just basically sits up and calls it a day, and I go outside to see if I can go around him. I get totally pinched off. I lost all my momentum. I put in a half-hearted sprint here to get across the line for 9th. But overall, a little bummed in the sense that I was aggressive this whole race. I did a pretty good job of positioning. I felt ready for the sprint. And that Mike's Bike squad putting the train together, hats off to you guys. Kudos. That was awesome. And then these little things where, someone comes through the pack because they're dropping off. Gap opens up. Someone blows a corner. Another gap. Someone drops the chain. Another gap. And, no contention left at that point, especially with my poor positioning on the outside. So maybe I could have squeaked into like a 6th. Maybe. I don't think I could have gotten into the top 5 even with a great sprint. All those dudes are super strong. But that was the race. Super happy with it. Super fun. Yeah, I'll be back again next year if I can work it out logistically. And yeah, this was just the race was so well put on. The banners down the sprint line to keep things safe are awesome, and they feel so pro. It's a good race. You should come out to Sand City and do it. The competition level is super high. The race course is a lot of fun. It rewards aggressive technical riding. Yeah, so that's all for today. Have a good one, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.